Hello.
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 Hello. I'm Mark Davison. This is Meeting 23 of Footballland. Who are you two?
My name's Anthony Richardson. We're building a big theme park for football theme park.
Yeah, and my name's Ryan Baxter, and I'd just like to point out we're not so much building it as talking about it and putting off building it constantly.
Right, okay. R&D is a stage of the building process. Just because it's not construction, just because... Where are you from? Tamworth?
Yes.
Tamworth are you from?
Yes.
Yeah? Burton area. Yeah, big industry place. Big industry.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Neighbouring the potteries. Yeah, I know you're
guys,
full on in construction, but we're ideas guys here in the south.
Yeah.
We're ideas guys, and that's just as important.
Guys, this is
All
the
right?
first
Can
time
you
I've
visit
introduced
tonight?
a meeting and you're close to blows already. We're barely started.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, mate. I mean, I don't want to get sexual about it, but yeah, no, I do like Tamworth.
Good. It's got an indoor ski slope.
Mark, you've made an advert, right, this week?
Yeah, this ride was pitched to us by Pete Donaldson. He pitched Paul Dommett's Meat and Potatoes Fun Fair.
Roll up, Paul Dommett's Meat and Potatoes Miniature Fun Fair. Yes.
I've got a ride for you guys. It's called Steven Gerrard's Slip and Slide.
Like it.
So
Very good.
we've got Nigel de Jong's Clog Flume proposed by Matt Whitworth. I'm proposing another water ride powered by the tears of 10,000 Scousers. Steven Gerrard's Slip and Slide is a spectacular drop as you emulate Liverpool's fall off the proverbial Premier League 13-14 cliff. But what is important about this ride, I think, is most of it is actually the ascension. This is going to be the first ride in history where the queue is almost as interesting as, and the safety demonstration, as the actual descent. So the queue is in a big tunnel, long tunnel up to the top, and that's the queue, but the queue is part of the ride. The tunnel is filled with euphoric music. You'll Never Walk Alone pipes through the tinny speakers, and Brendan Rodgers is right at the end, his giant face, and he is sucking you up through a straw.
Nice.
His giant face sucking you up in his big Northern Irish mouth.
Yep.
So you're in a giant straw of energy drinks. So you're in energy drink, okay? You know, so it's quite a rush, right? Because it's a very quick ascent to the top from Liverpool. And then you get to the top, right? You get into his mouth, okay? It's wonderful, it's warm, it's Brendan Rodgers. You know, imagine being in his mouth, okay?
I have done many times.
I mean, Brendan Rodgers' head is probably about the same size as in real life. And then you get inside his giant head. You're no longer an energy drink, okay? So the energy drink's kind of fallen down his throat, okay? So imagine you're in the tongue area of Brendan Rodgers, all right? So you're on his giant tongue, and you kind of feel it, and you can feel all of the taste buds, and you can see his teeth. You can knock against his teeth, okay?
Right. What's he
and you
eating?
can hear him saying things, and he's got bits of spinach in his teeth.
I thought so.
And he's eaten the 3 envelopes that he said contained 3 Liverpool players that would let him down. So you've got bits of old manila envelope in there, and, you know, a bit papery,
A horrible
but, you know,
aftertaste, yeah.
but then you soon realise, right, that you're in the safety demonstration.
Okay.
You're in his mouth, but the walls of this room are video screens. And the video screens burst into life, and they are Anfield. All around you, 360 degrees, the stadium. You realise that a worker who works at Footballland, who does the safety demonstrations on this ride, he's come into the room. He's dressed exactly like Steven Gerrard. There's probably about 10 or 11 of you on this ride, okay? So he brings you all into a big hug, and he goes through the safety demonstration.
Right.
Okay, and the safety demonstration he does, but in the style of an uplifting, euphoric team talk after they've just won against City. So just before the Chelsea game. So he's saying things like, you know, keep your hands by your side the whole time. If you've got a verruca, please wear socks. But you know, like in the style of his team talk. So it's like, keep your hands by... I can't do the accent, but, you know, like...
Just try it.
Try that. Please
Yeah,
try.
'cause that-
Hey, keep your hands by your side. Keep your hands by your side, guys. If you got a verruca, please wear socks. You know, we'll fucking won this.
So he's a Mancunian Smurf.
Well, he sounded like a kind of Victorian market seller from an Ealing comedy.
It's pretty realistic, because when you get actors who come and do these things on their CV, they say the accents they've mastered,
Right.
and they're never actually as good as what they say. So he's in full kit.
Yeah.
He's got a high-vis vest on because he's like health and safety guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got you in his team talk sort of huddle. He's going through the Veruca stuff. But he ends the safety team talk with the famous words, "This does not fucking slip. We don't let this slip."
Yep.
So he builds in the famous "do not let this slip" line. This does not fucking slip. We don't let this slip. And as soon as he says that, not even 5 seconds after, another employee dressed as Demba Ba climbs out of Brendan Rodgers' throat, out of his esophagus, runs past you guys, like maybe even pushes through the team talk huddle.
Right.
Is he covered in kind of digestive juices?
He's probably a bit fizzy.
When you say dress like Demba Ba,
Yeah, well, in the Chelsea kit. And he smashes past you, and Steven Gerrard says, "Oh, God, it's Demba Ba. Quick, chase him." And the door, you know, one of the video walls that had Anfield Stadium on it opens, all right? And you can see the outside. Demba Ba charges out the outside. You're running with him, okay? You run after him, trying to catch him. You speed after him, and he's rushing upwards towards like a big paper cutout of Simon Mignolet. You know, and you're running towards him, all of you, all 11 of you or whatever, and you're kind of barely noticing that what you're running on now is a water slide, and the water slide is gradually being lifted up on hydraulics. So you're now running after Demba Ba uphill. So you'll never catch him because he's got running spikes on, and he's done this 1,000 times before, and you're just in barefoot, although a couple of you might have Veruca socks, and you're running up after him on this water slide, but it's getting slippery, and the hill's getting steeper and steeper, and it's only a matter of time before you lose your footing and you slip, sliding down a giant water slide of the same fizzy energy drink that you were in at the start, all the way down to the bottom. So you're in a giant, really fast, almost vertical water slide, and on the inside of the straw that the slide that you're sliding down are images and video wall sort of footage of Man City winning the Premier League trophy. And if you leant down to taste the fizzy drink, you would realise it was Carabao, Chelsea's energy drink, guys, all along.
Okay. So I like the metaphorical significance of being sucked up into Brendan Rodgers' warm, inviting mouth.
Yeah.
Should we aim to metaphoricalise the descent? Should that be something else in Brendan Rodgers' anatomy? Because he did sort of shit it all up for Liverpool. Should you be sliding down through his alimentary canal, maybe?
Well, it was Gerrard that shitted it all up, wasn't it? It wasn't Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers didn't coach Gerrard to fall over.
So should you be sliding down through the intestines of Gerrard? Although that would then mean that Gerrard's bum is pressed heavily against Brendan Rodgers' cheek.
Well, it was at various times of that season.
Is it set in stone, the journey that people undertaking this ride go on, or is there any element of hope? Is there any chance they could catch Demba Ba, or Mignolet could save?
Yeah, well, don't forget that Demba Ba is being played by an employee of Footballland wearing running spikes. I mean, human error can be built in. Demba Ba might slip down straight away because he's going to be running through Fizzy Carabao himself.
Yeah. The next question then is a bit more loaded. Is this fun, or is this masochistic?
Well, it's fun. It's great going down a water slide, especially if you're not a Liverpool fan. It's going to be brilliant. You know, imagine being sucked up a straw. I think a lot of people would like to be sucked up a straw. I know I would.
Yeah.
You know, and Brendan Rodgers' mouth is probably the most warm and inviting mouth of any Premier League manager, with the exception perhaps of Steve Coppell.
Yeah.
And then going down a vertical slide and having to chase Demba Ba and laughing at a Steven Gerrard impersonator. It's all in there. We could get that Darren Farley guy to be it, but I think he might be out of our price range.
He's too good.
Maybe Darren Farley could play Demba Ba.
There's other problems attached to that.
Shoe size, yeah.
I worry about the shoe spikes on Demba Ba. It's going to be painful for the massive Brendan Rodgers head.
He's not real.
Well, you did say that it's about the same size as the real Brendan Rodgers, so a good PR coup would be for one of these, like, say, the opening day, it is actually Brendan Rodgers sucking all these people up into his massive head. And then if Darren Farley is stomping all over his tongue with studded boots on, that's probably going to put the real Brendan Rodgers off from doing that.
We could make Demba Ba sort of the sole of his running shoe out of those like suckers that you get on the bottom of bath mats that elderly people put in their baths to stop them sort of killing themselves.
I think, though, the risk there, if you've ever tried to run in those kind of octopus suckers, is with the first 2 steps, the shoe stays stuck and you're padding along in bare feet miles away from the shoes.
Especially in a sticky Carabao, Ryan. And also, you know, it doesn't have quite the same drama of it. It's like, oh, there goes Demba Ba, and you just hear...
Great noise. Great noise.
Oh, Demba Ba's getting away from us.
It's dark in there, so you can hear where he's going, and I think that would be an advantage because he's already got a head start on you.
So you're saying that the lights go out, and the only way you can find Demba Ba is by listening to this octopus sucking.
Well, yeah, it's dark in an esophageal passage, and it adds an extra layer. Demba Ba is an athlete, and so anybody that is going to play Demba Ba, I'm very worried about Darren Farley playing Demba Ba. I think whoever plays Demba Ba needs to be athletic and have very big quad muscles. Footballers these days, you know, they have terrifyingly large legs, and those, you know, old people bath suckers are no match for an athlete's legs.
Just imagine Darren Farley walking past us in sucky shoes.
Let's vote on this.
Let's have a vote. Yeah.
All those in favour of Steven Gerrard's slip and slide say aye. 3, 2, 1.
Aye.
Great.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
He lives inside the grandstand. He wears the captain's armband. He's good at keeping uppy as he saves a little puppy. Captain. Footballland. Captain. Footballland.
Ryan, you got some engagement. Some engagements come in.
Yes, I've got some engagement. It's from our regular patron, Matt Whitworth of the Matt Whitworth
of the car
park fame. He is. Well, this week he's pitching us a food concession run by Burnley defender Ben Mee called Come Dine with Me. 2 E's.
Right. So Come Dine with Me. With Burnley defender Ben Mee.
Yes, and he says it's a food concession selling popular dishes from Burnley, like the Lancashire hot pot. Not any other examples, which led me to, a popular search engine looking for other sort of Burnley dishes, and I can't find a single dish that is specific to Burnley. I did come back with some other Lancastrian dishes such as butter pie, Alton pudding or Orton pudding, and something called courting cake.
Oh, for the doggers, for their mid-dogging snacks.
Yes.
Have a bit of courting cake.
I like how your brain went instantly to dogging when mentioning courting.
Well, okay. I mean, it's a euphemism, right? That's whenever I read a Victorian book and they say they're off courting, right. I know they're going in a Ford Fiesta to the A38, a little lay-by in some woods.
They pulled their horses up into a lay-by.
They're all peering into a handsome cab as it rocks backwards and forwards.
So, in the lack of detail in Matt Whitworth's pitch, I've sort of filled in the blanks for him, rather than it being sort of Ben Mee being the man doing it all, the man cooking and serving and speaking to customers. I don't want food that Ben Mee's eaten. He sort of looks like an off-duty policeman, doesn't he?
He's not going to regurgitate it, Ryan. He'd cook it. He wouldn't eat it first.
I don't want his hands on it.
Right.
So what I did was, on my kind of searching for food from Burnley, I actually happened upon a TripAdvisor top 10 best places to eat in Burnley, and I thought it'd be quite nice if Ben Mee kind of used his Premier League wages to set them up in a little concession stand, a Burnley food court of the top 5 restaurants in Burnley in Footballland.
Right, okay.
Top 5 restaurants in Burnley are Wilfrid's Restaurant, Pendle Street Chippy, number 2, Enzo's Pizza, Bistro 197 and the White Swan.
What's the White Swan? The rest all sound like kind of takeaways, and then that one sounds like a pub.
Well, possibly.
Unless it is a swan getting eaten,
Well, I think it is.
The Queen won't be happy.
Wilfred's first one, that could be a fine dining establishment.
Yeah, I've not written down where the apostrophe is here, and so I'm not sure whether it's Wilfred's or Wilfred's. So what I'm going to propose is that it's the latter. It's both Zaha and Ndidi.
And Bonnie.
No, I'm just a 2, and I think...
All right.
You're not getting
What's he done to annoy you?
I don't know.
Well, he can have the Swan in because he's a Swansea player.
I've already got somebody for the Swan in. I've got Gary Monk in the White Swan.
Oh, right. You didn't want Wilfred Bonnie in for the Swan?
No, Wilfred. Let's keep the Wilfreds
Swan
together. I'm reckoning it's Zaha and Ndidi. You order, but you're not getting what you want, and it basically gets thrown at you. It's coming at you with force. Pendle Street Chippy. We've got absolutely nothing for that. There's not a footballer called Pendle. I can't think of anybody really called Street. We've been over this before, where I think we ended up with a man from the 70s called Kevin Street, who played for a number of non-league clubs. There's nothing for Pendle Street Chippy. Similarly with Enzo's Pizza, you think
hang on, Ryan. You've looked at Wikipedia. You've gone on the internet and you can't find any footballer called Street. You didn't go down like the Rue Villa, like Ricky Villa.
Okay, then it's
Ricky Villa.
It's Pendle Villa Chippy with Ricky Villa.
Yeah, I'm with Ryan there, Anthony. That is way too tenuous.
Burnley food experience here, right? We'll come back to Pendle Street. Enzo, you think there'd be plenty of footballers called Enzo? Well, there's not. I've basically got Enzo Sifo. He's a Belgian attacking midfielder with Italian heritage. And the reason why I'm sticking with this is because I want to combine both pizza and Belgian food, because I think that would be that's a winner. Imagine a Mall Frites pizza.
I don't want to cast aspersions on the people of Burnley, but will they get why it's him serving them? Are they that up on football that they'll know exactly why it's him?
What I admire most about this is you've gone to the trouble of looking at the closest establishments of dining, and then you've kind of realised that they don't fit with any footballer.
Nothing.
But then you've ploughed on. You've ploughed on.
And I think that's what Matt Whitworth discovered. I think he thought,
right,
I've got a great idea. He had a quick Google. Right. And then he backed out and went over to you, bozos.
What about we create a Footballland Come Dine With Me game show where everyone has to cook for each other and...
Who's everyone?
No. People in the queue.
There's a hole.
So you get...
Oh, right.
Okay, have you ever wanted to be on Come Dine With Me,
Never.
where basically there's 5 of you and you've got to take it in turns cooking for each other, and you'll get rated out of 10, and then the winner walks away with £500, and then there's a man at the end who says, what a sad, sorry life you lead, Jane. You get 5 different fans from different countries, and you make them all create their national dish, and then Ben Mee's got to judge which is the best.
That's one. Yeah, that's an option. Or I've got plan B, option B for you, which is we all get onto TripAdvisor and we try and upvote the White Swan and make it the #1 restaurant in Burnley. And basically Ben Mee can sort of, introduce Gary Monk as the owner of the White Swan. He's sort of a very blonde-haired Swansea legend. And he basically serves swan and in kind of Tudor style.
All right. What about this, Ryan? What about this? Final idea.
Yes.
Everyone is given a live swan, all right? And they've all got to dissect it, okay? And cook it.
Right.
And then at the end, Wilfred Bonnie judges on who's dissected and killed. Well, you've got to kill it first, then dissect it, then cook it, and then serve it up.
At this point...
I don't know why it's come down with Ben Mee.
And I also think we dismiss Ben Mee regurgitating other people's food far too early. I think
that's true.
We should bear that in mind. Come dine with Ben Mee, you feed him whatever you want, and he just regurgitates.
Did you guys see that new revolutionary bum camera that you sort of swallow a mini...
you swallow the pill.
Maybe that's it. Maybe we've just been overlooking something right in the news cycle, right in front of our faces. Come dine with Ben Mee. Ben Mee's just eating. Maybe we put Ben Mee in a recreation of the Burnley FC canteen, and we shrink our patrons down and put them in little capsules, secrete them in Ben Mee's food, and we go inside and we dine with Ben Mee.
Come dine with Bum Me.
Okay, right, we better vote on this because we're well over time, but you go ahead, you do the honours.
All those in favour of the Matt Whitworth, Ben Mee, come dine with me, say aye after I've said aye. Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Matt Whitworth.
Matt Whitworth.
Young man, we're building football land. I said, young man,
or girl,
we could do with a hand. I said, young man,
or girl,
do you understand? You could get in on this. You need to head on to PATR.
EON now.
PATR. Send us whatever you think. It might be good, it might stink. We will talk about it anyway. You need to head on to PATR.
EON now.
PATR.
EON.
Chuck in a couple of pound. We'll bat your thoughts all around, and it might just make our day.
Send us your ideas at patreon.com/footballland. Thank you.
Mark, idea 3, what have you got for us?
Right, so this is an experience for potential punters. As they come in and buy their ticket, they have the option to pay more and get something called running commentary, which is we assign a professional commentator to follow them around and commentate football styley on every single thing they do. So it will enhance the experience. It'll generate revenue for us. And it keeps it grounded in football kind of reality dream world type affair.
Nice.
There's the scope for people to offer this as a gift. So if they pay for someone else to have running commentary, they can reveal details about their lives that are revealed in commentary, either positively or negatively. So you could have quite revealing insights broadcast to anyone near the punter who's walking around with a commentator attached, you know, kind of pointing out flaws in the marriage, or there he goes, he's got to get an ice cream for both of his children, even though technically he doesn't like his younger daughter. Stuff like that. That
requires quite a lot of research from the commentator, but then commentators are known for their meticulous research, so I can see that. Yeah, and they've got those giant sort of clipboards with loads of facts about each player that they sometimes post on social media. So it's a bit like an audio guide in a museum or in an art gallery.
Sort of, although yes, it could well be to illustrate what they are looking at, but also to reveal to the general public insights about that person. I mean, that's so. Hang on, that's more what
is it just for the person himself to listen to in his headphones, or are you broadcasting this to other people?
Well, in my head, it was broadcast. It was fully audible.
But who's going to listen to it?
Well, I mean, if you pass a family and someone is following that family with a microphone, saying things like, "She's really not sure he should have worn those jeans in this heat. They were already smelling a bit bummy, and he's put them on for a third consecutive day." You're going to get on board with that, aren't
you? Yeah.
So this is actually broadcast from it's actually a commentator physically tailing a family. So in my head, it was the commentator was in a commentary box miles away, but sort of reporting on the action of a family via like some sort of drone camera. But you've actually got them following them physically with a microphone, and then with the PA attached to them, so everyone is broadcast.
Yeah,
it's like
nice.
Almost like a loud hailer.
Yeah.
In fact, a loud hailer would do the job. Yeah. And microphones that are held uncomfortably close to the mouth are something that commentators are used to. So
yeah, sort of a loud hailer meets a lip mic. Yeah, I think when you first said it, I imagined that the people were sort of slightly disturbed that they were being followed by a commentator that they hadn't asked for, and they were running sort of away from him, and that the running commentary was sort of
them trying to get away.
Very much so, yeah. But I quite like, maybe if it's a loud hailer and he's not got a giant PA system sort of strapped to his back, he could be jogging. Could he be jogging?
Well, I think what we're uncovering here is there's multiple ways of enacting this. You could go for the running commentary, which is literally you've got to try and get away, and a commentator is chasing you and commenting on your evasive techniques. That could be quite exciting. We could go with the revealing your every inner thoughts as prescribed by the wife or the best man at your stag do that you're on in Footballland. I think there's a number of different ways this could go, and we shouldn't rule any of them out.
Yeah, I like the idea of, the horror aspect of a commentator tailing you, someone like Arlo White.
Guy Mowbray, maybe.
Because Guy Mowbray, Arlo White, though, looks like quite an athletic man.
Yeah.
I mean, Clive Tildesley, you could lose quite easily. He would talk, he'd be, distracted by something about that night in Barcelona, and then you're gone.
Yeah.
But Arlo White, as long as you don't talk about Leicester City, he would be onto you. You wouldn't be able to shake him off.
And the horror wouldn't necessarily be just in the constant commentary. It could be like if you get Martin Tyler, everything you did, he would have to end it with "and it's live," and you would want to punch him within 2 minutes, but you've got to stick with him for the whole 12 hours you're in the park. He's going into a Scoffiation nosh ball, and it's live.
Yeah, whereas with like Jonathan Pearce, you probably want him around because he's going to tell you tidbits of well-researched information, sort of like the price of milk in Qatar, and you're like, oh, that's actually quite useful because I've converted most of my money into sort of Gary Mabbott Footballland coins. And
she's just said that she's on her hollybobs, and actually, technically, that is not a real word, but the etymology of it is, and then go into wherever hollybobs came from and how it grew up and how it's still not an official word.
Could you have a pundit, a co-commentator next to the commentator giving, a bit of colour?
Very much so, yes.
But would that not make it easier, make it kind of more difficult to lose them? I mean, it's going to be difficult to lose two commentators, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of penned in like a rondo,
Yeah, I think the co-commentator adding colour, and if we can get the commentator arguing with the co-commentator, that is broadcasting gold. And if you've paid money to have these two people tail you and you've got them punching each other's lights up at the end of the day, then that is going to be a really satisfying day in the park.
Trouble with the co-commentator is because they're former pros, they're going to be still have a level of fitness. Like Lee Dixon, you wouldn't be able to lose him.
Yeah, Alan Smith's quite in good trim. Stan's still quite fit, I guess.
Yeah.
Robbie Earle's looking sensational in the States.
Yeah.
I had a quick question about the gift aspect. I quite liked that if, it rather than sort of putting it upon yourself to kind of ruin your sort of day out at this, very expensive theme park that you've flown your family to, the a bit like kind of the film The Game, that
Michael Douglas.
The Michael Douglas film, yeah. A friend, a loved one has bought you this and you don't know, and you're just being sort of followed around by John Champion, sort of, revealing indiscretions. It would be really nice.
Yeah, I think that's...
Imagine realising that it's slowly dawning on you that voice is actually narrating everything you're doing.
Yeah, and everything that you've done in the last six weeks.
Yeah, because so meticulously researched,
That accountants don't go to conferences. They're boring people who, try and spice up their lives with sort of various sort of, sordid sexual things. But John Champion would know all about that, wouldn't he? Not that he does that himself, but he researches like a private investigator, that kind of level of research.
On all of that. Yeah, that would come out.
God.
And he'd know exactly how to pronounce the certain words. What? It's Sissy Maid? Yes. Sissy Maid, and he'd spell it for you. And then your wife would be Googling it and go, what?
Yeah.
This was a bad idea. This was a bad 50th birthday gift.
Yeah. It's not necessarily a wholly horrific experience, though. If you have paid for it and you get someone like the late, great Brian Moore, he could inject excitement where there was none. I remember him literally talking about Gary Neville tearing up the touchline where he was still very much in his own half, completely unthreatened, nothing was going on, and he'd turn around and pass it back to Schmeichel. That was so uninteresting. And Brian Moore made it sound like Pele's wonder goal in 1970. It's like...
I wonder if the character, the sort of Ron Burgundy, was almost based on Brian Moore, that if he'd made notes in his notebook in capital letters, that he accidentally sort of spoke them in very loudly and excited, but was never sort of made aware of that.
Yeah. He's coming out of the urinals, and that was the 17th greatest slash he's ever had. You know, you get a blip of excitement where there would otherwise be none.
Yeah, and it might spice up people's marriages because, you know, they might be into that sort of behaviour, the couple, you know, into each other's like swingers. It might help with swingers, I'm saying.
I'm thinking there is a deluxe package, yes, where they actually go home and commentate on your lovemaking that evening.
Well, we could set up chalets where
could just roll that into the international break. You know, that could be a bit like a kind of spa treatment.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You go back, and Andy Gray is. Pick that one out.
Of what? What? Of what?
And that's the extra package. It's just whether or not. I mean, Andy Gray would definitely do it, but I can't see Tyler doing it because Tyler's still got a job in England.
And it's live. Oh my God, that's fingernails. To me. And I think the final thing, when you leave the park, you get the option to do a press conference, and you get given that on DVD, and no one ever watches it. They never ever watch it. Yeah,
I'd like to see that. Much like Spurs coming third in the league, get the DVD out and sell about 3 copies of it, and away we go. Great, nice one, Mark. Yeah, love it.
Are we ready to vote?
Yeah, let's vote. Right. Yeah.
All those in favour of running commentary being added to the list of options at Footballland, say aye. 3, 2, 1.
Aye. Congratulations, Mark. You've had an absolute stormer.
Very good. Footballland.
Well done, Mark. What a lovely ride.
Yeah.
You've done really well
good.
there. We're really pleased with you and really proud.
Thank
so
you.
You should really go home really happy and have a wank.
Oh,
you spoiled it.
that's a good turn.
You've let the side down now.
There you go, a bit baldy.
I was getting my mum to listen to that, and then you let the side down.
Okay, all right, let's go. Let's go home and watch telly.
Yeah.
Bye!
All right, then.
Right.
See you in a bit.
Ah! Ah!